Shalom Gafnit.
Shalom Boaz.
It's good to see you again.
You too.
I met Gafnit on a circle of singing circles that we are doing every day to encourage ourselves and to send good feelings to all the people who are not with us right now, and to ourselves and to the world. And it's quite a special circle. And as I said to Gafnit, do you want to record with me something for people who are not in Israel? And immediately she said yes. So it's all spontaneous, not planned, and we'll see what happens.
And I don't know which kind of question you're going to ask me.
You don't know, and I don't know either. But I think for people who don't live in Israel, they probably want to know what it's like to live in Israel nowadays.
Yes. So we live in a small village in the north of Israel. Not the very north, but in the north. And as you all know, Israel is a very, very tiny, tiny, tiny country. You can cross Israel from south to north in 7 hours, and from west to east in the minimum is 20 minutes, the maximum is 1 hour. So I just tell you how little it is and how much it's surrounded by many neighbors from many different countries. Some of them are in a good relationship and peace process with Israel. Some of them still didn't agree with the fact that we here to live here, we are Jewish people, this is our country, and we meant to live here. And we have been living here for thousands of years. Although we had to evacuate Israel, not because we wanted, but because the Greek and the Roman, the Babylons.
I'm talking a few years ago.
Yes, I'm talking a long time ago, because people have difficulty to remember past history. But we remember it because we need to. Because because this is the only place where we feel safe. And we don't feel safe at the moment. We actually don't feel safe. So when you think about big, strong Israel, we are a very tiny country. And somehow we are amplifying in the world to many, many things. Great things, difficult things, all kinds of things. And
what do you mean we are amplifying?
Like loudspeaker, loudspeaker. I don't watch the news because I do not think that the news are the news. The news is what living inside each one of us and what we are connected with when we speak with people. When we are truly connected to a great, valuable, meaningful things. Because the media want us to be tunneled
Yes.
to a specific views, specific opinions, specific fears, specific tragedies, specific happiness. But hey, we born unique, so we have our own connection. We need to know what's happening. We can't be completely like. But remember that the media is possessed by powers that want rating. And this rating can drive us to different direction. And if we put a GPS and we want to go to one direction, but the media will shovel us. Hey, there is mall here. Hey, do your shopping there. Hey, what about? We will be away from what we want to go. And we have a place, and it's called home. And this home is Israel for us. And you are most welcome to come in a peace days to visit Israel. It's a beautiful country.
What can you say to people that they cannot find in the media? Like, I don't know, what it's like to be in Israel, what it's important for us that they will know.
So maybe I'll start with the fact that a day before this evil war started, evil attack on innocent people, that I know many of them that live in, I knew many of them have been murdered in a very horrible way. in the south of Israel, in a small settlement like we live. And I went abroad. I went to Denmark for a peace concert of the White Oak, Young Template of Peace, to raise money and to raise awareness for refugees in Africa, in Kukuma refugees camp, because they are doing beautiful project. And we, the White Oak young people, wanted to raise money and raise awareness for them in Danish, Copenhagen. And the day come, and
Maybe just to say what is a white top.
well, the White Top is a young template of peace. It's an international organization that I started 28 years ago, actually, when maybe 27 years ago, 1 year after Rabin, our prime minister, was murdered. And we started it first in Israel with the Shalom template, and you all know what Shalom means. And this is just 2 weeks before Rabin was murdered, we started this youth movement, children and youth movement, called the Shalom template. And after 1 year, we turned it to be international. So every year we do lots and lots of activity and lots of camps and gathering and of young people from all over the world. And we have our own initiative, and this concert called Melodies That Matters, because we started to think that melody is something that flow and connect us all. So I went peacefully, although I was really disturbed. You know, sometimes you feel something is very disturbing. And
because of the war?
The war didn't happen yet, but the last year in Israel was hell. Was really difficult in terms of everything collapses internally, and we could feel how the safety of our children and grandchildren is really disturbed, and they really don't feel settled, and we don't feel settled. And it's not like in America, you know, where your neighbor country like you. In Israel, it's not like this. I mean, we have peace with Jordan and Egypt, and it's a lot. But there is terror organization that really diminishing their own country and want to diminish Israel. So, being in Denmark, all of a sudden, early in the morning of the 7th, my gentleman called me and he said, "You don't believe." And I was really in devastating state. And all my friends were like, "Wow, Gafnit, you don't know what's happening in Israel." And I was like, and we said, "Look, this concert, this music is to make the world a better place. And we all need to align ourselves into peace, because peace is a natural quality. Peace is not politics. Peace, in politics, there is no peace. It might be agreement, but if we speak about peace, it's a natural quality. And if you, Boaz, radiate peace, and I radiate peace, and a little child radiate peace, and even a cat that sits in the sun and kind of enjoy and feel comfortable and feel safe, is radiating peace. And even a plant can radiate peace and stability. So it took me a while. The concert was great. It took me 10 days to come back to Israel because a flight was cancelled, and more flight was cancelled, and more people were worried. And I must tell you that when I came to Israel, it was different Israel.
Yeah.
It was a Holocaust of 1 day, but it didn't stop in 1 day. The people I met and the people I went to their funeral yesterday are in a shock, in a trauma, that even the best of the psychologists didn't imagine that they will need to go through such an intense search for healing for these people, and there is many children who've been left with no parents, who saw their parents murdered. There is so many horror stories. I will not go inside it now. But why? What is the reason? And I know that in politics, in media, you can hear so many views here, there, everywhere. But I want to tell you something. I think the people of Gaza, the true people of Gaza, they are not wanted anywhere in the Islamic countries. Why? They are such nice people. And many of them used to work with the kibbutzim, with the settlement, with the cities near the area. And many of them, even when the border was closed, they used to get money from the kibbutzim, clothes, food. And even the people, my relative that was murdered, yesterday they told in their funeral how they care for people of Gaza. But then the Hamas came, which is a horrific terror organization, and control Gaza. And whoever didn't want to vote for them find himself dead. So when you make on the scale, shall I vote with them and I save my family or not, and I will be dead? So these people, the million people that live in Gaza, they are already kidnapped by Hamas terror organization many years ago, and they can't fight them because they are looking for peace. And
so they are a bit like hostages.
Yeah, they are hostages. And when you put your finger, so many people around the world now, and say, no, it's Israeli, they destroy Gaza, they destroy Gaza. I mean, if people would really care for the Gaza people, they would help them a long time ago. Gaza is a beautiful place. They have the most beautiful beach. It could be like Mediterranean
Garden of
Eden. But then it's not, because they suffer terror. They suffer terror from the terror organization that actually does not recognize that Israel should exist. So if you fight with these kind of people, and yes, it's difficult to see that so many of the houses have been bombarded and so many people had to run away. But Israel army always make awareness for people. Please leave the place. Please leave the place. And you know what? Who was shooting them? It was a Hamas. Their own brothers killed them. So we should be aware of what people feed us. And it's the same in the north of Israel. With Hezbollah took over of the amazing people who live in Lebanon. And I have friends from Lebanon, which they are devastating by the fact that Hezbollah ruined their country, ruined their willingness, ruined their good mood, ruined their hospitality. And also Lebanon is actually the Switzerland of the Mediterranean, but not anymore. And why? Because there is terror, people who have been terrorized, I don't know why, and they want to see Israel diminished. We will not let them. We will not let them do it. And I want to tell you a small story. As I came from my granddaughter after I land in Israel, I'm going on the train and on the bus from Akko to the nearby city, Carmiel, because there is not many train, and I hear from the back, and we pass in Arab villages, and we live in peace here. We live in peace here. I have so many friends who are Bedouins, who are Muslims, who are Christian, who are Druze, and they love to be with us. It's working together. So I'm sitting in the bus, and there is someone in the back is speaking, and I hear this young she sounds very young, and she speaks with her grandfather. And she asked him, "How are you, grandfather? Are you safe where you are? Do you have the bomb shelter? Do you have enough time to run to the bomb shelter?" And he answered her. And at a certain point he asked her, "So what are you doing now in the army?" And she said, I'm guarding terrorist young people in the jail in Israel." And he said to her, "From what I understand, why don't you kill them? Why Israeli army is not killing them? They are terrorists." And she said to him, "You know, Grandpa, we are the most decent army in the world. We will not do it unless we must, because these are people. They can change their ways. They can be different. And we need to look after them. And we give them food, and we give them shelter, and we take care of them. And this is what I do. And it's very hard to do it. But I do it because I'm part of the army, the decent army of Israel." And if you know or don't know, the army in Israel called the Army of Defense. The Army of Defense, Israel, are not attacking. And believe me, my parents, as new pioneers many years ago, they are dead by now, they built a kibbutz. And their best friends was from the nearby Arab village that helped them to build the kibbutz, and they helped them with all kind of education, and they were like family in our house. And we never saw the different. We only respect each other. And this is an heritage that my parents gave to me. And when I look at a person, when I help the Bedouin women here, they are my best friends, like my friends, my neighbors. And they are the ones that call to say Happy New Year and how are you and what's happening, and they are the ones that call this time. We are all human, and it's a time that we can stop racing. We are not horses that need to race anywhere. We are humankind. And this is a message. Let's be kind to each other. What does human need on earth? Air, water, love, some food, place to put our head when we are tired, and know that we are all safe, and also our children.
Yeah, it's a powerful message. I'm wondering, for people who are not living in Israel, how can they connect with us? How can we connect with them? And how can they feel that they are part of... I get a lot of letters saying, how can we help? And
yeah,
because they want to be part of it, and they do care for Israel and for us. And I get very special letters. So I wonder if you have some thoughts about it.
It's quite amazing that the Jewish tribe is like all over the place, and it's come together when there is difficult time. And believe me, your thoughts, and I also get many letters from my Jewish friend and also from other friends. Believe me, when you send your thoughts of peace to the Mediterranean, you send your healing thoughts to people who got
to the Middle East.
To the Middle East. You send your thoughts of care to any child. It doesn't matter if you're born Jew or Muslim or Christian or Druze. It doesn't really matter. Or Buddhist. It's help, because our power of the mind and power of the heart. In Hebrew you say Chochmat HaLev.
Wisdom of the heart.
Wisdom of the heart was given to Bezalel, so he will be able to build the temple. And now we live in a time where we need to build our own temple. We need to take responsibility and build the inner temple of each one. So together we have milliards of temples, and each one will be different. So the wisdom of the heart is something that if you cast your mind upon Israel and the Mediterranean, and you send peace, we receive it. We receive it. And if you don't, led by the media to be negative to Israel, it's help us. And if you raise your voice to help, to release and to bring home all the people who have been kidnapped, the children and the babies and the elderly people and the young people and the youth and the mothers and the father, it's help. So Boaz, you will share with them also the movie we did from international languages, from all over, from China, from Russia, from here, from the Jewish tribe, from the Muslim tribe, from Denmark, from Italy, from Ecuador. People speak of, please free the people who have been kidnapped. They deserve to be at home and to be in great care and love and respect, and to heal the trauma, to try to heal the trauma. So this will help a lot. This will help a lot. If you want to contribute finance, I'm sure Boaz will tell you how to do it, because I tell you, in such a short time, both from the south of Israel and from the north of Israel, 500,000 citizens had to leave their house. In the south, because of the hell and the evil act of violence. And their villages are ruined completely, are broken, are on fire. In the north, and I know because the mother of my husband, she's 93. She lives on the north border, and she had to leave her house. And you know, it's not easy for elderly people to leave their house and to go to live with one of the brothers, which is great, but she wants to live with an own garden and the cat and the dog and life. And 500,000 people had to evacuate their home. And where do they go? Hotel gives them partially support there, but it's already 15 days. Where they will go? They need support financially so they can pay the hotel, because they don't have work at the moment. Israel is, no one is working, really very few people are working. There is thousands of people who got wounded and they are in hospital. Doctor, nurse, cleaning people, the people who cook, work around the clock, they are exhausted completely. And there is so much that need to be rebuilt, reconstruct, remade for them, for the children who are suffering so much trauma. There is thousands of people who are psychologists and therapists and massage and people who deal with healing, who take care of the little babies and the children and the youth and the adults that are in a great trauma. And I must say, we are all in trauma. You agree with me?
Yeah. Sometimes it's more internal, and I know for me, when we start singing, immediately I want to cry, but I'm very active, so it's kind of helped me not to feel my feelings too much.
Yes, we don't allow ourselves much to feel our feeling, but yesterday I was in a funeral of these relatives. They are 60, and all their tribe was there, and they've been murdered, and their children and their grandchildren spoke about how amazing they've been, how much care they had for nature, for people in Gaza, for the Friday meal, for the Saturday walk in the fields, for the hard work, because they've been agriculture people, and they love humankind, and they always help. And they said that this is something they will always remember. And they said, who will do it for us? And they said, we will do it, because the spirit of the Friday coming is so engraved, and the smell of the great cooking and the challah bread which fill the not only the room, not only the house, the neighborhood. And this is where they spoke about them. And it was really heartbreaking. There is hundreds and hundreds of graves, and you can see that every day. And they are not buried in the same kibbutz where they used to live all their life. They buried in another kibbutz because it's not possible to go to this kibbutz at the moment. And it's a temporary grave. But there is thousands and thousands of flowers, the flower that you bring to the grave, and you can see the state of the flower, and you can see when these people were buried, and this family was buried, and this family was buried, and it's all family that was buried. A small baby, a youth, and a parent. Why? Because we want to have a life, a decent life as Israeli people. We deserve to have a life.
Yeah.
We must have a life of love and peace and care in the Mediterranean. So
Middle East.
And Middle East.
Mediterranean is a sea.
So in Middle East. Okay, I love the sea. So Middle East. So there is many ways to help. And actually, if you remember, we did many years ago this project
with
of knitting
hats for the soldiers.
And it was from a synagogue.
Yeah, from Seattle, many people in Seattle, from the synagogue and other places.
And churches.
The
churches, and then it moved to Alaska, and people send us knitting hats for soldiers that need to protect Israel. So from Alaska, and then from New York. And now everybody in Israel relearn to knit so they can make hats with love for the soldiers of Israel.
Yeah, I think that's other side of the devastation and the pain and the sorrow, and the other side that we feel very united. And there are a lot of grassroots initiatives. I just heard about one that one person told in the singing circle. There is an Israeli guy who wants to bring shawarmas to the soldiers. And I heard that another one here around another village that is arranging hot meals to the people on reserve, and people who serve.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of initiatives, and I think we are very united and feel strong as Israelis. And yet it's like almost two different sides to it. But I know the people not in Israel want to feel also part of it and to support it.
And we do need help. We do need a lot of help. And
so if you know
there is
practical ways.
There is so many. You know how many in so many synagogues now in Israel, they actually turn the garden to become a place where they cook for the soldiers. I will not say how many soldiers are in reserve now because it's a secret. But there is many soldiers in, and their home feeling by getting a hot meal for a day and a hat knitted by someone and a letter and cookies makes them stronger and remind us why we are here. What is the reason for the Israeli people to come back after 75 years of the Holocaust then to live in Israel? And you know how many misbehavior,
anti-Semitism
are happening now all around the world. And why?
I know that Israel have changed, and we don't know exactly what it will be like after that. in some deep way. I think we are,
We don't know.
like you say, we are different people, and we've all been affected by it, and our friends are still prisoners or been kidnapped.
Yeah, there
Well,
is a family from the village
Yeah, we
that have
don't
been
know what
kidnapped.
happened to them.
And
Two little children, 8 and 3, and
yeah, and their parents have been, at the beginning we thought that they've been kidnapped too, but today we heard that they've been murdered,
the parents.
the parents, and we still hope that the family is alive and are safe, as much as safe can be. And
So maybe bring it, it's been quite a long conversation.
yes,
I think my message is that we need any kind of, we want to be in touch, and we need anyone's support that can support Israel in any way,
yeah,
mentally, emotionally,
Yeah.
and physically,
Yeah.
and financially, in any possible ways.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And to remember that all the darkness of the world cannot
Yeah.
put out the light of even one single candle. And you are a
Yeah.
light, and we are a light, and humankind is a light. So we hope. And Einstein used to say,
Oh, yeah.
how can you be pessimistic about the future? It didn't happen yet.
Ah.
So,
So we hold that thought that
yes, yes,
to be optimistic
Yes,
about the
yes.
future.
yes, and thank you so much.
I think we are one people, and we experience different realities at the moment, but we are still together and
Yeah,
one of the same people and,
Yeah.
and humanity. So
yeah,
I think that's a light, to come back to our humanity,
Yeah.
to be humans, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we are Jews, but I think above all, we are all
We are
humans,
human.
and some of my best friends are Arabs,
Yes,
at least one of them, and we meet them every day, and we have very warm feelings
Yeah.
when it comes to yesterday I went to fix my car. I met a few in an Arab shop in a village nearby, and it was very
Yeah.
enjoyable, and
yeah.
we had a very warm conversation.
I mean, this is part of the future.
Yeah, so it's not all dark. It's just that there are parts which are dark, which we don't want. So thank you for being supporting, because we got a lot of support. I read one of your letters today to other people, and they felt very
Yeah.
encouraged. So keep sending the letters and the
Yes.
sentiments and the love and the
Yes.
support in any way.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know,
Yeah.
we'll see what next.
Yes, as the Dalai Lama said, there are 9 billion people around the world, and we are one. We are like one human being. So
Yeah,
be safe. Be safe, friends.
okay.
All the best.
Till next.
Thank you, Buzz.
All right. Thank you, Gafnit. To be continued sometime.